Alright, so in Chapter 1, Section 5, which is talking about analyzing graphs of functions, we see here it's asking for domain and range. So domain is your x and range is your y, so looking at this we should be able to see that looks like x can be everything, so these are going on forever, so it looks like the all real numbers. We could notate that by going from infinity to infinity. The y values, well, the y values, like, is -2 the lowest point or really close to -2? And so that's where we'd have to be careful and make sure we use parentheses for our lower bound, and then infinity, you can type in INF. I thought you could type in INF. We'll go over here and find infinity. So there's infinity. And that would be our range value. So to use the graph to find the indicated values, so like if we looked at f of 2, well, if x is 2, it looks like the y value is 0. F of 1, so when x is 1, what's my y value? Well, my y value is going to this piece, not this piece. Another one that we're going to look at in a supplemental video is finding the zeros of the function algebraically. And so you can factor these, lots of different ways to factor. I'm going to show you a way that I like to factor, but you can always check your answers. So if we look at this function in Desmos, so here's how you can get your answers. Again, that's 2/3, that's -4, so those are our solutions. And that's the answer to this question. But it says do it algebraically, so on a midterm and a final, I'm going to expect you to be able to do it algebraically. I think if you look at the percentages of your midterm and final, it's like 25% each. So this is a skill you need to be able to do by hand, so I'll show you how to do that in a supplemental. Number 8 is looking at a relative min and relative max, and it says use a graphing utility. So luckily we have that. And if you graph this one, you can see where its max is and its min. Now that would be on a graphing utility. And I imagine it tells us to round to 2 decimal places. And again, it's these point values that we're looking at. So that problem becomes super easy with our graphing utility that we use, Desmos particularly. Number 11 is another one. Again, we can find the zeros of this function pretty easily. In Desmos, again, that's just their x-axis, where the x-intercepts, your zeros, but let's do it graphically first, and then in the supplemental I'll show you how to do that as well by hand. And so if we look at our zeros, so we're this line here, we can see we have a 0 there, -0.5, +0.5, and 8. So those are our solutions that we could type in. Like, they're going to be correct, but you need to know how to do it algebraically. So I'll have a supplemental video for those two problems.